You look at that cloud. This cloud is no different than this cloud. They all interact. What you call space is a cloud. There's no such thing as space. We look out there and say, what's there? Nothing. No, that's not true. Space itself is something. Space was created at the Big Bang. Space is something. You interact with that. You interact with everything. That's why all things can be known. There comes a time when you start knowing these things and you want to go, okay. You're sitting next to somebody and you're going, I wish I knew where the knob is because this fool is nuts. Click. You come to that point. Everybody wants to be, well, I would like to read minds. How often can you read Dr. Seuss? How often can you do this? And you go, okay, there'll be enough of that. So you have these things happening, but you also have choice. You have choice. You will have all manners of reality streaming into you. To a person who only sees this reality, you can only talk to them about this line of reality. Because they're nuts, and they will think you are the nuts, the one who's nuts. I see many, many lines of reality at the same time. It has kind of been an acceptance that allows them to sort themselves out. You can't sort it out. You have to allow it to sort itself out. So I'm not so sure in the whole scheme of things what happened and what didn't happen. I am sure about this line of reality. I'm also sure about the other line of reality. Now, which is which? You see, the idea, if you get the sight of the scope of the subatomic particles being a cloud, if you get the scope of that, you understand how all the layers work and how you receive them. Okay? You get that scope. But now, don't worry about that until you get to that. And when you get to that, don't start running around saying stupid shit, because they will put you in the nut house. Okay? You see them all the time. Talking, well, that's because they don't understand choice, and they don't understand how to allow. Because once you come to that, there's no problem. I'm reminded of, I forget what the name of the Western is, but it's about Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday and all those guys. And, Tombstone maybe, where the guy looks at Doc Holliday and says, you don't want to draw on me. You drunk, you probably seeing two of us. He said, that's why I got two guns, one for each of you. I don't know which one of you is real, but I'm shooting both of you. See, that's how we deal with things. Well, okay. Deal with that, deal with this. Okay, cool. Years and years ago, Wayne, you may remember this, I don't know, because I did it at Central White College. where I did a drawing, a circle of a large consciousness, off of that another circle of a person in this year, another one of a person in this year. You remember that?
Yeah.
That's where that concept comes from. How everything feeds from here back to here, and how all that information comes together and provides you with a larger scope of life, period. But that's where that came from, where that diagram came from, is allowing the many layers of reality and just accepting. Okay. Again, wait until you get there. Don't try to do this. You have to do the steps that it takes to get there. When you have a greater scope of reality, you appear very intelligent. And maybe even today, as in times past, almost like a god. You find that back then, when some began to understand in greater scope about things, because you had people with lesser scope about things. Everybody doing this. When it was just a guy going through. You know, I often joke about every time an angel appeared to a woman, she got pregnant. You know, as something is like, whoa, wait a minute now. Gabriel came down to Mary. Well, he should have had on a big brim hat with a feather and a red suit. Say, now, little girl, I'm the angel Gabriel. This is my horn. Blow on it. No. I'm sorry. No.
Sorry.
My point is, knowledge puts you in a certain situation. You also have to make choices in that situation. Perhaps, and I say this some of the time, perhaps in the relationships with people I've made a mistake. That is saying, hey, not opening up the full scope of what I know, and choosing not to be as some of the quote gurus or special folks claim to be. The point of what I have to say is that I'm a person, which says, if I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm a person. I'm not a guy who stepped from between the pages of time. Ta-da! Here I am, Mary. No. Because the point is, to use this word, the message is, it's all available to all life. That's the point. Not that it's available to me and certain others and not available to you. Not Zeus atop Mount whatever. No. I understand that in a certain way, in a certain time, it was important to do things in a certain way to control and manage humankind. Because we would just be worse than we are now. if somebody didn't say, God's watching you, God's going to get you, okay, I would kill everybody, but God is watching. He going to burn me in hell. See, without that figure, we'd be in big trouble. But that's not my job. My job is to tell you the absolute truth. The absolute truth. That is, ta-da. This is you. This is you if you do certain things. This is not you if you don't do those things. Simple as that. That's all it is. We want to fight to maintain our ignorance or ignorance or ignorance. Either level you at with that. Either level you're with that. To maintain it or to open up and let growth happen. Let change happen. We think certain things are so far out of our scope that they couldn't be true. I had news for you. In this coming 1,000 years, there's going to be things that happen that's going to blow the mind of everyone on this planet. And I do mean blow the mind. Those of you who have been with me a long time, what you see happening now is something I said would be. I'm not a medium. Matter of fact, I'm a well done, but wasn't that bad. I see the possibilities and probabilities. That's what happens when you allow them in. The direction that we are taking is taking us toward awakening or destruction. What I can say to you is that what each individual does determines the direction of that for humanity. It's like voting. More people vote for this guy, that guy wins. Fewer people vote for the other guy, that guy loses. It is that same balance. It's the same way in which the universe works. We can go toward destruction and start all over again, or we can move forward. That's what it's about.